यशोमति नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमति नंदन ब्रजवर.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much to all the devotees there at Ohio for inviting me to your Sangha. It's certainly a privilege. Before I start the class, I just want to pay my humble obeisances to all the devotees there. Vancha kalpataru bhayascha kripa sindhu vayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavan Guru Maharaj ki jai, Iskon Vartaman Guru vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodara Jagannath Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Okay, so Hare Krishna. So I have been asked to speak about Grihasta life in Krishna consciousness. So I have taken up Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, and today we will be discussing from those verses. So coincidentally, back home, that means in Vizag, we are discussing this canto, and this is what is going on in our morning Bhagavatam class. Now, on this topic of Grihasta Ashram, I've given various classes elsewhere to other temples with an acronym, how to develop good qualities as Grihasta, as a husband, as a wife, and how to have a hassle-free journey back home, back to Godhead. But today here, I don't want to repeat that acronym because I've spoken about it in many classes and they are all available on YouTube. So today I thought, more than a class, I'm just going to do a reading and we all do it together. So everybody can take your Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we just read this conversation between Narad Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj. I think there are around 42 verses in this chapter. I don't know how many we can complete today. But I will read only translations and then I'll pause, pointing out important points, and then read another verse, and then read another verse, and let's see how many we can complete in this session today is what I have planned for the class today. So we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayo Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nice Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Reading from Canto 7, Chapter 14, text number 1. Shri Yudhishthiro Vacha Grihasta etam padavim vidhina yena chanjasa yayad deva rishi bruhi madrisho grihamudhadhi. Translation. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from Narada Muni, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we who are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life may also easily attain liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, this whole thing starts, actually this is a continued conversation. There is, Narad Muni has been talking about Brahmachari, Sannyasya and Vanaprastha in the previous chapter. And in this chapter, the chapter begins with a question by Yudhishthira Maharaj, where he is asking Narad Muni that, what are the Grihasthas supposed to do? Because we are staying at home. And we have no knowledge of the goal of life. Of course, Yudhishthira is being very humble and modest. We all know he's a pure devotee of the Lord, but this is for us. So how can they attain liberation according to the instructions of Vedas? And I was just thinking that this is so beautiful. Yudhishthira Maharaj is teaching us what question a Grihastha is supposed to ask a devotee. Sometimes even we may have an opportunity where devotees visit us, or we may have an opportunity to associate with devotees, but sometimes we get so busy taking selfies with them or taking photographs with them, or just that, being in their presence. But he's just teaching us that the right way of approaching a devotee is to get instructions from the devotee and understand the goal of life. We see the similar incident in 10th canto when Garga Muni visits Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj tells the same thing. Oh, as Grihastas, we are bound by our household affairs, and you are so kind that you have come and visited us. Please enlighten us about the goal of life. Actually, we are so fortunate in Kali Yuga. People say, oh, we are born in Kali Yuga, but in the previous yugas, and the previous situation was so different in Kali Yuga, and especially now in the modern times, everything is so accessible to us. In those days, if they have to get the spiritual knowledge, they had to go to the forest, which is so difficult for the householders, because they have their cattle at home, they have cows, they have farms, they have their children, wife, the whole household affairs that they have to take care, and they could never leave their house and go to the forest and take association of the saintly people and know about the goal of life. So they were completely dependent on some saintly person actually visiting them, and then they serve them and get knowledge of the goal of human life. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, sometimes they may forget what's the goal of life. It happens. In household life, one is so busy with so many activities that one loses what's the purpose of human life. One forgets the 4 P's. The 4 P's. What's the purpose of your life? What's the path you have to take? The passion to pursue it, and the perseverance. So this is sometimes get missed among so many other activities that a householder does. If you see, the life of a sannyasi or life of a brahmachari or vanaprastha is like taking a car from a bypass road. So there is no traffic. They are happily going back home, back to Godhead. But when it comes to an householder, he's actually driving in a traffic bazaar, market road. There are vendors and there are rickshawalas and there are so many other cars. They may bump into some other cars. They have to honk. It's quite a difficult journey. They need help. So here, Maharaj Yudhishthira is saying that, and in midst of all this, you may actually forget your goal. Where are you going when so many things happening around you? So he said sometimes they may forget and it's so glittering, it's so engaging that one may just slip from mind. What am I supposed to do? They get so busy with their day-to-day firefightings, taking care of children and the household and money management and social management and cultural management and office and boss. So many things happening that they just lose the purpose of life. But the devotees of the Lord are so kind. That is why you see the gopis and the gopi geet, this particular verse, I think it's verse number 9, they say, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi bhiriditam kalmasapaham shravanamangalam Shrimadattatam bhuvi grinanti ye bhuridajana bhuvi grinanti ye bhuridajana. The devotees of the Lord are so munificent. Oh, they are so magnanimous. Oh, they very kindly give the knowledge of the Lord for delivering everybody. So here, Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Narad Muni, so what are we supposed to do? We householders, we get so busy with our day-to-day life that we may forget what's the goal of life. So what should we do, and what is your advice to us? So I thought that is such a beautiful question, something for us to know what to ask when we meet some devotees. I'll go to the text too. Now Narad Muni will start answering his question. Shri Narado Uvacha Gruhashve avasthito rajan kriya kurvan yathochita Vasudevarpanam shakshat upasita mahamunin. Translation. Narad Muni replied, My dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to learn earn their livelihood. And instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna, Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord. Very beautiful point. Narad Muni here begins, those who stay at home as householders must earn their livelihood. There are two kinds of karma one has to do, or dharma. One is the Nitya Dharma and one is the Naimatika Dharma. The Naimatik Dharma will keep changing. So when I was not married, my Dharma was a student. As a student, I had certain responsibilities. And now since I am a mother and I'm a daughter, a mother, a wife, so I have now different responsibilities. So there is one Naimatik Dharma which will keep changing from time to time in your life. And one is Nitya Karma or Nitya Dharma, that is pursuing our Krishna consciousness. So here is saying that those who stay at home, what is their Naimatik Dharma? Is that they need to earn their livelihood as a householder. Because we are not like exalted devotees like Tukaram or Narsimha Mehta, that we just chant bhajan and Lord will take care of our necessities. We have to do our duties. So earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they offer it to Krishna. So this is very important point. They're not lazy. So I like that point where Srila Prabhupada, at one place he says that we are not bhogis, we are not tyagis, we are bhakta. Bhogi, tyagi, both are bogus. So Prabhupada said those who are bhogi, they're also bogus because they're trying to enjoy something which is not there. So he gives an example. Let's say I go to my neighbor's house and I tell him, hey, I want to enjoy your air condition, I want to enjoy your refrigerator, I want to enjoy your TV, then that's crazy. It's not yours, but you're trying to enjoy. Or let's say if I go to the neighbor's house and I tell him, hey, look, I renounce your fridge, I renounce the TV, I renounce, that's stupid because it's not yours to renounce. It doesn't even belong to you. So Prabhupada says that when you're trying to enjoy, it's not correct because it's not yours, it's Krishna's. And when you say I renounce, what is that renouncement? Anyway, it's not yours, it is Krishna's. So neither we are bhogi, neither we are tyagi, we are bhakta. That means whatever available or whatever we get, we use it for Krishna's service. So Narad Muni tells here, those who are living and home, they can earn their livelihood, but it's not that they should completely enjoy it. They should offer the results to Krishna. Then whatever they are doing, that 9 to 5 job or business or whatever, the whole thing will become a devotional service. So it is something like this. When a salary comes at home or the earning or the profit comes at home at the end of the month, what does a father do? He divides it. This is for my daughter's fees, this is for buying grocery, this is for my wife, this is for my children. They divide it. Now in that division, when even Krishna is a part of it and this is for Krishna, then what will happen is you are treating Krishna as a part of your family. Then now whatever you did Monday to Saturday from day 1 to day 30, it will all become devotional service because Krishna is also part of your family and you're now working for Krishna. That is why Rupa Goswami said that as a householder, one should give certain percentage of their salary in Krishna's service. There are 3-4 aspects to an individual. The first thing is your personal sadhana. As a Grihasta, what are the 4 things? First thing is your personal sadhana. Second thing is your coordination with the people around you. Third thing is charity, and fourth is preaching. These are the 4 things one has to do it properly. The first thing is one's personal sadhana. Getting up early. These are all the householder has to follow. Getting up early in the morning before the sunrise, purifying the body, taking bath, chanting the prescribed rounds, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, offering prasadam to Krishna and then accepting. These are all personal sadhana one needs to do. And then second part, apart from the personal sadhana, coordinating with the other members of the family is very important because we have a vertical relationship with Krishna, but we also have an horizontal relationship with people around us. If those two are not harmonized, then we cannot go back to Godhead. this is something like driving a cycle. If you are driving a cycle, you have to learn to balance it. If you do not know how to balance the cycle, you'll keep falling, and then you cannot even enjoy the whole ride of the cycle. But when you learn how to balance the cycle, then you can sing a song, hum a song, look around nature, hear the birds chirping. Everything will be so beautiful. So one has to learn to balance the life properly, because if there is no happiness in the householder life, you cannot become devotee. There will be so much disturbance in your chanting, there will be disturbance in your day-to-day life. And if somebody may have very good relation with Krishna, but unless and until they have harmony in relation with people around us, their Krishna consciousness cannot progress further. And let's say if somebody doesn't think about Krishna and has beautiful relation with the family and children and wife, and it's going all perfect, it won't last long, because this is something like a building without a foundation. If there is a building, there is a foundation, and then there is a first floor and the second floor and the third floor. But let's say somebody forgets to put a foundation and keeps building floor after floor, one day it will collapse. So if somebody thinks I'm fine without having Krishna in my life, and I'll continue to be a good husband, and I'll be a good wife, and I'll be a good son, it will never happen, because the foundation is Krishna consciousness. If one has Krishna in center, if the foundation is strong, then the whole life goes very beautifully. So apart from one's personal sadhana, there should be proper coordination with the family members. If the family members are happy and they are satisfied, then Krishna conscious process becomes very easy. The coordination between the family members is very important, and it's mainly responsibility of the male member of the family. The male member of the family has to lead the family into Krishna consciousness. It's very important. Of course, they say woman has an important role to play, but the male plays the role of a guru. The father of the house has to take responsibility. He has to be exemplary. Now, what is happening nowadays in the modern world? They have this concept of man and women being equal. Sorry, I'm treading into a very controversial portion of it, but I want to give what's my opinion, and opinion of according to the Shastra, Guru and Shastra. Just like a car, there are 2 tires in the front and there are 2 tires in the back. That is how the car is made, and that's how the car functions. If all the 4 tires want to be in front, it doesn't happen. So even in a family setup, there has to be somebody called Guru, a spiritual authority. So husband is a spiritual authority or a Guru in the house. And if he is exemplary and if he leads by his example, then the whole family will be very peaceful. But where the husband is not taking up the responsibility of spiritual authority, if he himself does not display any sense control, then the whole house will shatter. The whole house. Previously, if we see from our scriptures, all the successful householders, whether it is Sita Ram, or whether it is Prithu Maharaj and Archi, or whether it is Kardama Muni and Devahuti, or whether it is Diti or Kashyap Muni, or whether it is Draupadi and the Pandavas, or just about any example you take, the authority there was not women, it was the men. They were the authorities, and the women simply follow the men. Now what happens in the present scenario, if the husband or the father simply concentrates on sense gratification and he gives importance only to the sense gratification, then slowly the wife loses respect on the husband. If a husband behaves like an animal, giving only responsible to eating, mating, sleeping and defending, then slowly the people who are under his authority will lose respect. So a man or a father has to be very exemplary. So he has to show by example that yes, we do our household affairs, but the boss of the house is Lord Krishna, and our lives are centered around him. So see, nowadays the complaint I usually through emails and all, they say, no, but my wife is not respecting, my children don't respect, or my husband. The respect problem comes when we don't display proper behavior. When we behave properly, it will come, because respect is something you can't demand, you just command by your behavior. When they see the children are like CCTV cameras, so they're always watching you. So they're not hearing what you talk, they are seeing what you do, right? Just like Anderson says, what you do shouts so loud in my ears that what you say I can't hear. Sometimes our behavior shouts so loudly in everybody's ears that even if you make big statements from the Shastra, they can't hear because they're seeing you behave in a different way. Sometimes, some parents, they'll come and tell me, my children, they don't listen to me. Yeah, because in front of them, you have sometimes displayed lack of sense control. Like you start shouting, you start getting angry, you overreact to situations. Then children understand, my father doesn't have control on his anger, my father doesn't. Then they will lose respect. The whole point is when they see quality on you, some nice quality which they appreciate, then only they will respect. If they see you're so peaceful, you're so kind, you're so self-disciplined, and they will automatically respect you. Don't have to tell them, okay, I'll read from Bhagavatam, listen, please respect me. Just see how Ram was respecting Dashrath. It doesn't work like that. They are observing day in and day out your behavior with others, your behavior with your parents, your behavior with your siblings, and they simply imitate you or they simply copy you. But sometimes some people may put up a show, but the double standard doesn't work out because children are so sharp. See, the whole point why there is no respect between husband and wife is when there are two behaviors, when there are two masks, one mask for the public. See, the problem is if you are living three different lives, one is a public life, one is a private life, and one is a super private life, which is only the Paramatma knows, then there is no coordination between these three lives and there is no alignment, then they're not going to respect. So if you put tilak, kanti, japamala, and inside the community, temple hall, you are a different person, very kind, very sweet, and very beautiful behavior, and back home you are a different person, then they will lose respect on the Krishna conscious process. It all becomes very hypocrite. So that's why there is no respect. But if one is following the same ideals at home, then automatically the spouse will have immense respect. So it's very important. The most important role is of the father. If he is a proper spiritual authority, if he maintains discipline in life, and then he can bring the whole family into Krishna consciousness. And also, see, the whole point is he's the one who is going to be benefited or he's the one who is going to be at loss. Because in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, first Vilas, verse number 77, they say that just like the king has to accept the sins of a minister, the guru has to accept the sins of a disciple, the husband has to accept the sins of his wife. So that means if a man fails to employ his family into Krishna consciousness, and if they are acting averse to scriptures, he has to take the sin. So it's such a big responsibility. That is why in the front of the fire sacrifice, when a man is accepting the hand of a girl in his life, it is such a big responsibility, because now henceforth whatever she does, so the advantage with the ladies is if they do good karma, they don't have to share it with the husband. It's completely there. But if they do bad karma, 50% will go to the husband. And with the husbands, if they do good karma, they have to share 50% with their wife. But if they do bad karma, nobody will share it with them. Well, that is what it says in the Padma Purana, Pad number 112, verse number 18 and 19. It says that anybody, for that matter, if somebody is serving you, for example, a servant is serving you, or a wife is serving you, or a disciple is serving guru, then he takes 50% of the pious activities done by that person. So that means because a wife serves you, she cooks for you, she takes care of you, she serves you, she takes 50% of your good karma. So imagine every time that you are chanting, hearing, reading, anyway she's taking 50%. So you'll have to do double, At the same time, if you engage her also, you are benefited. Otherwise, any wrong activity done by her is your responsibility. So this is such a thing, once somebody gets into a householder life, it's not as simple as it looks like. It's not a license one can engage simply in whatever they want to do, and I'll chant Hare Krishna. One has to plan one's life. What kind of person I'm accepting as my partner? How will I also engage her in Krishna consciousness? There should be a whole blueprint. So apart from one's personal sadhana, proper coordination with the family. And after the proper coordination with the family, then one should do charity. So these are all different steps one should go. See, because unless and until one's personal sadhana is good, just like they tell you in the aeroplane, you put your oxygen mask and then you put it, help others. So first we be disciplined and we do our sadhana properly, then we help our wife and children, and then a step forward we do charity. Because unless and until we do charity, actually we are doing so many sins as a householder every single day. And even like I'm talking to you now, I don't know how many insects are going inside my mouth. We are walking, there are ants and rats and so many things happening, a lizard, so many things, so many jivas we may be hurting knowingly or unknowingly, so many sins that we are committing. So we have to purify. See, even to earn wealth, a businessman has to tell 100 lies. He has to tell the customer, oh, just for you, I haven't taken any profit. So many lies we have to take, so many manipulations, so many diplomacy. So that wealth which has been earned by that should be purified by giving charity. Mind has to be purified by chanting Hare Krishna. Body has to be purified by engaging senses in Krishna's service. Intelligence has to be purified by reading scriptures. So like that, if the wealth which has been earned has to be purified. That is why Rupa Goswami said 25, 25, 25, 25. 25 for emergency, 25 for personal use, 25 for religious, social activity, 25 for Krishna's service. Some other places I heard 50% for Krishna's service, 25 for personal and 25 for emergency. Even if we can't go up to that standard, whatever we can do, one should perform charity. And charity should be given at the right time, to the right person, the right place. This is very important. Sometimes, of course, charity also can be in sattva, rajas, tamas. We do it for sake of name, fame. We do it for, just to prove something right. All that is all tamasic or rajasic, but one should do it as one's duty. The topmost is when one does it as a loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I had read elsewhere that how when you give charity to an ordinary person, you get whatever you gave in your next life back as it is. But when you give it to a Brahmana, half-educated Brahmana, he may not be so smart, just born as a Brahmana, then you get it double back. But if you give it to a Brahmana who is completely following whatever the rituals and is doing a good job, then you get 10 times back. But if you give it to a Brahmana who knows the essence of the Vedic scriptures, then you get 100 times back. But if you give it to a Vaishnava who is a devotee of the Lord, then you get unlimited times. There's no unlimited mercy. You'll get unlimited mercy. That is why all the householders are encouraged to contribute for the society, ISKCON society, since it belongs to a pure Vaishnava, who is Srila Prabhupada. It is his movement, it is his blood and movement. So once somebody gives it as an offering to Prabhupada, there's unlimited mercy. And this has to be cultivated from the very beginning. From the very beginning, the children should be taught to give. Many times I keep telling in my classes that this culture is Western culture where, on the day of the birthday, gifts are accepted by the child. Actually, according to the Vedic tradition, the gift should be given on birthday. So the child should be taught to give gifts on birthday. I remember when we were young, with my parents, we had this system. On my birthday or my sister's birthday, we were taken out to orphanages and we used to go to hospitals in Hyderabad and also give charity to beggars, give them prasadam. And that was a competition between me and my younger sister. Who gives more? Okay, I gave to so many hospitals on my birthday. Who you gave only 2, 3. That was the fight we used to have. Now I see the children as the other way around. How many gifts you got? How many gifts I got? The whole point is we're teaching the children to take and give nothing, Even when they are standing in front of the Lord, the children are taught, ask Lord that you become a good boy. Ask Lord that you should get first marks. Ask Lord you should get, seat in this college. But we never teach them that, thank Lord, you already gave me so much. I'm so happy. Thank you. This thank you word, this gratitude, we don't teach the children. So this giving of charity, that should be the culture of the house. Actually, what we do, what we don't do, becomes the culture of the house, becomes the culture of the family. So we as young children, I remember on the next day of Ekadashi, we had a house in Hyderabad. Every Dwadashi, there's one Brahmana lady used to come. Initially the Brahman used to come, but then I think he got paralysis or something, and his wife used to come. And we as young children were so excited. Go to the kitchen, get 1 cup of dal and then rice and some atta and some jaggery and some this vegetables, and then put it in the plate, then offer it to that lady, offer her obeisances, and she would sit and then pack everything. My mother used to get her a cool glass of buttermilk, and that was a tradition, that was the culture. So from very beginning, if the children are taught like that, they will learn to give. They learn to give. I run a school here in Visakhapatnam. It's a school for young children. Of course, now I've gone, up to grade 7. But what I've been observing last many years that I'm running this school, the whole point is children have become so self-centered. They become so self-centered, and they've been brought up in such a way that they feel they are the center of the world. Whatever they say has to happen. So when they come to the school, it is so difficult to go through that transition, because in the school they are one among all the students. They are not the center of our life. There are all so many students, and they have to learn to share with each other, and that is becoming such a big problem. With nuclear family, only 1 child or 2 child, they don't want to share their things. So as a householder, that if we put that charity part in it, then we learn how to share whatever we have earned, share with the people and share with the Lord, and do it as a service to the Lord. So our personal sadhana, coordinating with people around us, charity, and the third part then comes preaching. So as a householder, we can preach Krishna consciousness in our own way. Whatever we have learned, we can open the doors of our houses for preaching program, distribute prasad, and that way we can live a life of ideal householder. Householders can have DT service, which is so important. I was brought up in Bombay in a joint family. Then after some time we migrated to Hyderabad. And being from a Gujarati family, Pushti Marag followers, we have this Laddu Gopal Seva. Now I want to share with you my uncle and aunt, they're like pakka, because my parents, when they migrated to Hyderabad, we got in touch with ISKCON, and then we went in a different direction, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worship and all. But even now with my uncle and aunts who stay in Bombay, I'm so amazed by the kind of service they do to their Gopalji. One specific uncle and aunt which I'm very impressed with, as young children we have observed, they had a whole big household for Gopalji, a big, with a wooden altar, and it's not like ISKCON altars. It's like a whole house. They have a bedroom for the Lord. They have a drawing room for the Lord. They have staircase where the Lord goes up. There is a terrace. There is a swing when the Lord swings during the summer. They have wardrobes for the Lord. Small, little Laddu Gopal, but they have wardrobes for his summer wear, his winter wear, and they have fountains made of silver, so that they on the fountain, different animals like peacocks and deers and parrots and birds and all, they put it on display when the Lord wants to enjoy. They make different delicacies for the Lord. And I remember from my very childhood how my aunt, we used to go to Bombay during summer. And I remember up to 12 in the afternoon, you can't talk to her, because she does the recitation of 9th chapter, 12th chapter, 15th chapter, 2nd chapter, Gopi Geet, so many other things. And she'll be making fresh milk sweets for the Lord on that day, nothing in the fridge. That day she will make the fresh sweets, finish her offering. And if we want to ask her something also, where is the curd in the fridge? She'll be chanting, Jayati Te, they come, she just act by sign, she will say, that is there, but no talking. And then she finishes all her seva by mid-afternoon, and then she'll say, okay, so now how are you? And then she'll start talking to us. And of course, as children, it left such an impression in my mind. Her whole behavior was such amazing. And not only that, even when they got their daughter married, so in Gujaratis, there is a culture. I don't know if it's still prevalent. What I'm talking is all 25 years back. The culture is when they get their daughters married, whatever they're giving their daughter in dowry or as gift, they display it for people to see. There is one particular day, on that day they host people. So people come and they walk in and and they say, oh, you're giving this, oh, you're giving this, and they just displayed. And I remember my aunt there, how many sets of saris she gave it to her daughter, that many sets she made for Laddu Gopal. How many sets of gold or diamonds she gave, that many small little sets she made for Laddu Gopal. Laddu Gopal was so much part of their family. It's like family member. They talk to him, they speak to him, and everything he's told about it. This is what has happened. That is what has happened. They report to him. And I remember on that day I was present when they were displaying all this, and they had displayed their Laddu Gopal's clothes also. And somehow, out of so much crowd, one of the diamond set got lost. And my sister was so anxious now what will happen. She ran into the puja room and she locked herself, and she was continuously chanting, and speaking with the Lord, oh, please help, where is this thing lost? And I was so amazed seeing their surrender to the Lord, faith on the Lord. Lord is part of the family. They talk to him and they shout at him and they fight with him. What happened? Why this is lost? Such a beautiful, beautiful atmosphere. Why I'm emphasizing on all this is, if Krishna is center of our life, everything is going to be happy. The whole point is, no matter how many adjustments we try to make a makeup outside, there'll always be some boil coming up. There has to be a safi. Safi is a liquid which you take. It will improve your blood. There has to be something you take, medicine. Then there will be no boils, because the boil comes because of impure blood. The whole problem in Grihasta life, or if you say whatever the hurdles are, because of lack of Krishna consciousness. In a house where Krishna is the focus and the center of life, everything will happen so beautifully. Like Prabhupada puts it, put water in the roots, everything will be happy. If somebody is trying to satisfy Krishna, every member of the family is satisfied. But if you're individually trying to satisfy anybody, they'll never be happy, because neither we are perfect, neither they are perfect. We are both imperfect, but both imperfect together are worshipping the perfect Krishna, then the life becomes perfect. So like we have, between the couple, there should be the divine couple. Between the couple, if there is Krishna and Radha, then everything becomes very happy. So here, Narad Muni is saying that, whatever you are earning, your livelihood, instead of trying to enjoy the result, one should share it, one should dedicate it to Krishna. And then another important point I like here, he says, how to satisfy Vasudev should be understood through the association of the great devotees of the Lord. So when we associate with the devotees of the Lord, then we will know how to do it in the right way. Like Prabhupada, even about the charity, he gave such beautiful instructions. Said, don't, give money to the beggars, because if they utilize that money for doing something wrong, then you get part of the karma. Now with this, I'm reminded that once Prabhupada did give money to some beggar. And then Prabhupada, one of his disciples said, Prabhupada, you told us that you're not supposed to give money to the beggar, you just give prasadam, but you just gave money. And then Prabhupada smiled, he said, anything that comes from me is prasadam, I can give, but you should be careful, to whom you are giving. So under the guidance of a spiritual master is very important, because otherwise we'll come up with our own created austerities and our own we'll just make up something that doesn't work. It has to be in line, with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, according to, the Guru and Sadhu and Shastra. I remember this one pastime which happened in Vishakhapatnam. When Prabhupada was here, at that time there was no ISKCON temple. In February 1972, he had come here and he was staying in a Gaudiya Math in Puri Maharaj's ashram, and he had come with a big entourage. There was Guru Das Prabhu and Guru Kripa Prabhu and Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Vishakha Mataji, Tejas Prabhu, so many of them. And they used to go for a walk. You all know Vizag is on the beach, it's a beach city, and Puri Maharaj's Gaudiya Math also was very close to the beach. So Prabhupada used to go on a morning walk every day to the beach, and devotees used to be so enthusiastic to follow him. So Guru Das Prabhu was sitting, and chanting outside the temple hall, and he was waiting that when Prabhupada comes out, I'll follow him. But he kept waiting, and he never saw Prabhupada going out. And then after some time, when he was looking at the beach from the far, he says, oh, Prabhupada is there, and all of devotees are walking with him. And he thought, how did I don't know why I missed it, Prabhupada is already on the beach. So without even wearing his footwear, he ran towards Prabhupada. Now, when you are going on the beach, there are boulders and, sharp rocks. So he's just going, He just, because it's hurting him, hurting his feet. And then somehow he reached, and then Prabhupada paused and looked at him and said, "What happened?" I said, "No, it's okay, Prabhupada. But when I see you, there is no pain. When I see you, there is no pain." So Prabhupada, looked that he hasn't worn footwear. So Prabhupada looked at him and said, "Oh, is it? When you see me, there is no pain. Why not you take a knife and cut your neck? Since you said when you see me, there is no pain." And then everybody was like, and then Prabhupada smiled and said, "Look, there are already so many austerities given in the scriptures. Why do you want to create your own? Why do you want to create a new one? Why can't you just go and wear footwear and come back?" So it was such a beautiful point Prabhupada made, why create your own austerities? Already austerities have been given. So when we are under the guidance of a spiritual teacher, we will know what to do. Otherwise, we'll end up doing something which may not be necessary and will not do what is necessary. So a very important point that Narad Muni is making here. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of the great devotees of the Lord. The association of the great devotees of the Lord. We are like iron. And when you put iron in the water, the iron sinks. But the iron is welded with wood. Then it will float. So we are like iron, so many negative qualities. But when we get attached to the wood, the pure devotee of the Lord, then we sail. Otherwise, we are drowned in this material ocean. Also, another important point is when we work under the direction of a spiritual master or a devotee or guru, there is no karma. There are three things, right? There is karma, vikarma, and akarma. So karma, you do some activity and you get the result of it, whether bad or good. And vikarma is a bad karma you do. But akarma is you don't get any reaction of that activity. So when something is being done under the order of Guru and Krishna, when a devotional service has been performed, there is akarma. There is no reaction to it. So that's very important. See, it's like the army people. The army, they may kill hundreds of people in a war. Immediately the man who kills so many people is given a gold medal or is given an award. Oh, you have killed so many people for the country. But the same man, if he kills his next door neighbor because of a fight, he'll be put in a jail. Now the man may question, what did I do wrong? When I kill hundreds of people, you gave me an award. I just killed one person and now you're putting me in jail. But the difference is that this was authorized, this is not authorized. The man may argue, those hundreds and thousands of people that I killed, they never even made any problem for me. I don't even know them. I still kill them and I get an award. And this man is making trouble for me. And when I kill him, I'm imprisoned. The difference is that you were not asked to do it. You were not authorized to do it. Here you were authorized to do it. And this is what happens. When somebody is leading a life under the direction of the Guru, spiritual master, he's so safe. He's so safe. But if we're trying to do something on our own, we may all trip and fall. So very important point here he makes that how to satisfy it should be done under the guidance of a devotee of the Lord. Just to the next sloka. Shrinvan Bhagavato Bhikshnam Avatara Kathamritam Shraddhadhano Yatha Kalam Upasanta Janavritam Satsanga Chanake Sangam Atma Jayatma Jadishu Vimunche Muchaya Maneshu Swayam Swapnavad Uttita. Sorry for my Sanskrit pronunciation. A Grihasta must associate again and again with saintly person. And with great respect, he must hear the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations, as these activities are described in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. Thus, one should gradually become detached from the affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream. So again, Narad Muni is emphasizing that how a Grihastha should associate with the saintly people. So what does that association mean? So just like we mentioned, association means we hear from them and we share our confidential thoughts with them. We take gifts from them and we offer them gifts. we take prasadam from them and we offer prasadam to them. So like that, when we associate with saintly people and we continuously hear Krishna's katha, then all the impurities in our heart are clean. And once the impurities in our heart are clean, there will be happiness in our relationships also. Right? So it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Srinavatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanam hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suhit satam. So when punya shravana kirtanam, when somebody is hearing with the about the Lord, then all the abhadra from the heart is cleaned. And when the abhadra from the heart is clean, then that material hankering which is there in the heart will be out. The whole problem in Grihasta life is there's so many desires, so much material hankering. And when somebody is doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, then that is removed. So here it says that we must associate with the saintly people. Of course, we are so very fortunate that we have Srila Prabhupada books by which we are able to associate with him. When Srila Prabhupada was there in this world, he gave association to everybody by talking to them, giving them prasadam, giving his association. But for those like us who were born late and could not have Prabhupada's association, he wrote for us his books so that we can associate with him through his books. So when we hear and read Srila Prabhupada books, we are associating with him. Our association with the devotee should not be like the association of a mosquito with the king. A mosquito was sitting on the crown of the king and was so happy that I am in 24 hours association of the king. But not that kind of association where we hear and talk. But there is another controversial line here in this sloka. It said one should gradually give up affection for his wife and children. Now this somebody may think, oh really? We thought that's our duty. Now there's a difference between lust and love. You can always love them. But when love is mixed with expectation, then it becomes lust. So we can love our wife and children, but that should be unconditional. Mostly our love is conditional. I love this person, I'm doing this thing for this person, and what is this person going to do back for me? That is expectation. And when love is done with expectation, then it's simply lust. You are desiring something for yourself. You may profess it as love, but you just want something for yourself. So here they are saying that just like a man awakening from a dream, so it is something like it can happen so quickly and spontaneously, because the fact that we are not away from Krishna, we are just looking at different direction. Now these are the two hands, these are away from each other, but our situation is something like this. We are just next to Krishna, so we don't have to travel many kilometers, just have to change the direction, and then we are so close. So just like a man waking up from the dream, the moment somebody realizes in Krishna consciousness, then it's very easy to connect to the Lord. Now the part is being unconditional. That means we have same love for everybody. Here what they're asking is that not to stop our duties. Being detached means, okay, from tomorrow I should, Narad Muni said that, so I don't have to take care of my wife and children. What he's saying is that you do your duty, but you don't become attached to them. Saying means you don't expect anything back. You just do what you're supposed to do, your duty. As a husband or as a wife or as a son or as a mother, you just do your duty. Because it's not that devotees are dry and they don't have love, and then you are a grave, or now you are a good devotee. No, they have all the more compassion, they have all the more love. The only thing is their love is not limited to 2 people, 3 people, they love the whole world. Vasudeva Kutumba. For them, everybody, if they see anybody's child, they'll say, oh, like my child. Anybody, they have the same respect. They have same respect for everybody and same love for everybody. That is why you see in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, verse number 13 to 20, Lord has mentioned 36 qualities of a devotee. In that he says Maitri. He has friendliness, friendship with everybody. The Lord says Adveshta, Sarvabhutana, Maitra, Karunaevacha, Nirmamu, Nirahankara, Sama, Dukkha, Sukha, Shami, Santushta, Satatam, Yogi, Yatatmam, Dridanischaya. Continuously he'll tell all these qualities of a devotee. A devotee means he loves everybody. That's what it means when they say here no attachment, means they're not attached to one particular person. They do their duties, but they love everybody. For them, the whole world is a family. Everybody is a family because they see Krishna in everybody. Krishna in everybody's heart. Pandita Samadarshana. In everybody's heart, they see Krishna. Devotees are actually having more affection, You see Arjuna, he was so full of compassion, he was so full of affection. He didn't want to kill anybody. And because of that affection and because of that beautiful heart he had, that is why Krishna wanted to share Bhagavad Gita with Arjuna. It was not that he was, I don't care what happens to whom. In this regard, I'll tell you one story. Ramanujacharya. One man approached Ramanujacharya and he said, I want to take sannyas. So Ramanujacharya said, all right, so what's your qualification? Why do I have to give you sannyas? So he said, you want to know my qualification? Well, I've been married for last 40 years. And you know what? My wife died yesterday. And just see, I don't even have one tear. I'm completely detached. So I'm the right candidate for sannyas. So he said, all right, sit down. And then the other candidate comes and he's crying and falling down, and devotees have to somehow make him stand. And he says, what happened? He said, my son died, my son died yesterday. I'm just not able to take it, he's just crying. And Ramanujacharya says, okay, start the fire sacrifice. I'll give him sannyas. Now this man who was sitting next to, he said, what is this? This is crazy. He is so full of attachment and maya, and you giving him sannyas. And look at me, I'm detached and you don't give me sannyas. So then Ramanujacharya made a point. He said, look, this guy, he knows how to love. For me, the job is very easy. He loves his son. I simply have to dovetail his love from his son to Krishna, which is very easy. But you don't know how to love. Last 40 years you were living with your wife and you couldn't get even one tear when she died. So you're so heartless. So I can't teach you how to love. If you are a loving person, I can dovetail your love from your wife to Krishna. But if you don't know how to love, I cannot create the feelings of love in you. But this man is full of love. I simply have to dovetail his affection towards Krishna. So devotees doesn't mean that one is very dry. Devotee doesn't mean that the moment you get into Krishna consciousness, you become so dry and you don't care. No, you care all the more. Only thing is, it's unconditional. That's all. This is very important point, because many times I see, I don't know, in the recent time I get a lot of emails like that. Oh, my husband doesn't care, my wife doesn't care, she's only thinking about her chanting and her service in the temple and does Krishna consciousness make you selfish? No, it makes you selfless. It makes you all the more loving. Because now your love is so unconditional. You're not expecting anything from anybody. Your source of happiness and your source of love is Krishna. Rest of them is what you give them. You're not expecting anything from anybody. You just want to give people. That's such a beautiful thing. Many times when young couples or young people come for counseling, the first question I ask them is, why do you want to get married? And if they say, I want to get married because I want to be happy, I tell them, it's not for you. Marriage is not for you. And I'll tell you why. If you're thinking that marriage is going to make you happy, then it's wrong. The actual thinking should be, I'm happy and I want to share my happiness with somebody. So I want to get married because I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I want to have a partner whom I can share my happiness with. Now that is the right attitude. But if somebody thinks I'm miserable and marriage is going to make me happy, then two miserable people can only give misery to each other. You can only give what you have. If you are miserable, how will you make others happy? The marriage is not that some person will come in your life and she will give you happiness or he will give you happiness. The whole point of marriage should be, I'm happy and I'm connected to Krishna and I'm so blissful and I want to share this with somebody and I'm looking for a partner whom I'm going to share this, right? That is the attitude. When that attitude is there, those marriages will be so successful marriages, when you want to give. And so you don't want to take from the other person. We have to be like kings. We should have the attitude of giving, and we shouldn't be in the beggar mentality, always begging bowl. You give me respect, you give me love, you give me affection. Please give me, please care for me, please take care of me. That's a beggar mentality. And you cannot be happy if you have a beggar mentality. So here, Ramanujacharya said, no, you have to know how to love. So devotees, they love. So we shouldn't misunderstand this line by Narad Muni where he says, detach from affection for his wife. No, detach means he doesn't get too possessive. I have to take care of my wife, my son, they should be happy. No, Vasudeva Kutam, everybody should be happy. All should be happy. That's the mentality of a householder. We go to the next sloka. Yavad artham upasina deha geha cha pandita virakto raktavat tatra narloka naratam nisat. While working to earn his livelihood as much as necessary to maintain body and soul together, one who is actually learned should live in human society unattached to family affairs, although externally appearing very much attached. Very important point. Earn his livelihood as much as necessary to maintain body and soul together. That's the ideal thing. The principle of, KISS, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. The more we keep it simple, if you have to swim in an ocean, it would be so nice if you are having light clothes and you are, at ease. If you have boulders tied to you, then the swimming becomes very difficult. So if we keep our life simple, just having as much as required, then the journey will become very easy. So those who are actually learned said that they are unattached to family affairs. You're just like a lotus flower. The lotus is growing in the dirty water, but the lotus is not attached to that, so unattached. So those who are unattached but externally appearing very attached, that means you do your duty, you show affection to everybody, but your love, your first love, second love, last love, all love is only Krishna. But with the rest of them, you do your duties. I'll give you one practical example. Let's say you live in an apartment and your next door neighbor has a 4-year-old child and he's got cough and cold. Now, you'll tell with affection, he's got cough and cold. Why not you give him some ginger decoction? And then you can give him some steam. And then you can give him some turmeric with honey. If you do all this, he should be fine. Now, after 2 days or 3 days, you again meet the child. And you see he's still having cough and cold and the mother hasn't done anything, whatever you said. Now, what will be your reaction? You don't start fighting. I told you, why didn't you do it? You'll just watch. I gave the wisdom. They didn't take it. That's all right. But now the same thing if your daughter-in-law does. You gave her the advice and she hasn't done it for your grandson. Now you will fight with her. I told you yesterday to give the ginger decoction. You still didn't give it. See how he's suffering. Now this is the problem. There's no harm in giving advice. The harm is in the attachment that my advice should be followed. That is the problem. So in the household life, we should do our duty. But there should be no expectation. So I do it. I tell, and whatever I'm supposed to do, I do. But if it doesn't happen, then that's Krishna's plan. I did my job. So if we can remain like that detached, then one can be happy. You do your job, but don't expect the others to listen to you completely. It may not happen because they have their Purva Janma samskaras. They have so many things happening, It's not linear. I said something and the person follows. There is so many plus. His Purva Janma samskara, his Purva karma, your Purva karma. Oh, so many things are happening for one action to take place. But we find it pretty simple. I said that, it should be done. No, it will not be done. There's so many coverings. So much conditioning from the previous so many lives. So it is not very easy to break through it. Things are not so simple as they look on the face value. So like that, one should be unattached. That means you do your job and don't expect that everybody will, expectations has to be reduced. Then the householder life will be so beautiful. If you keep low expectations, and if things happen more than you expect, you'll have a happy life. Oh, I never expected she'll do that, but she did it. That will make you so happy. But if you have high expectations, then every time you are always sad. So a householder, like I say this in the classes, see, Abhimanyu had a problem because he knew how to get inside the chakra view, but he didn't know how to get out. This is the problem with the householders. They know how to get inside the household life, but there is no training about how to get out. That is a problem. So one should be trained. That means one should have a blueprint. Okay, I'm getting married. So what's my plan? What's my financial planning? What's my social planning? What am I going to do? What is going to happen to my children? When I'm going to retire? Retire in the sense from active services. I have to completely now dedicate myself to Krishna. How I'm going to balance. There should be a whole blueprint. See, otherwise we are so worldly wise. You see, even when you are driving a car, you go in the car, and then you see a green light. The traffic light rules. Oh, green light means you just drive. Orange light means you slow down. Red light means you stop, right? It's very clear. And when we see orange light, we don't start speeding our car. Of course in India they do that. When they see orange light, they'll speed all the more, that somehow I can brake before it turns to red. But that's not the way. Once you see orange light means it's an indication. Please slow down. Very soon there is going to be red light and you have to stop. Same thing in householder life. One should plan it. Okay, 30, 40 years of my life is a green light. Oh, after 40, I'm entering in the orange zone. Oh, anytime there may be a stop. Of course, according to the, actually there's nothing like that. There can be an orange or red light even when you are 2 years old. This is a general planning. Okay, up to 40 there is green light. I do my activities. After that I'm entering into the orange zone. Anytime it may be red light. So you have to plan it. What I'll do after that. What I'm going to do. How much time I'm going to give for Krishna. How much time for my job. How much time for my family. Like Bhakti Thakur. He's an ideal example of an ideal Grihasta life. He planned it. 8 hours for my soul. 8 hours for family. 8 hours for Krishna consciousness. Such beautifully he planned it. Every householder should plan up his life. What am I going to do? Plan it in a proper way. Not that the life is just going on. Life is just going on and one fine day you realize, oh, I'm already 60. What should I do now? And that will become too late. So this is how it is. Okay, we'll do another sloka and we'll end it because it's already 1 hour. Gnataya pitaro putra bratara suhrida pare yad vadanti yad icchanti chanumodeta nirmama. An intelligent man in human society should make his own program of activities very simple. If there are suggestions from his friend, children, parent, brother, anyone else, he should externally agree saying, yes, that is all right. But internally, he should be determined not to create a cumbersome life in which the purpose of life will not be fulfilled. This is so very important. Because this is one problem every householder is facing. Sabse bada rog, kya kahenge log. Oh, it's such a big problem. What he will say, what she will say, what he will say if I do this. And and then 100 advices by outsiders. You are very young, don't take up to Krishna conscious now. Oh, you stop taking non-veg. How you'll get protein? Oh, you don't take tea, coffee. Oh, there are so many things they'll start talking. So here Narad Muni, maybe they were also facing this problem in Satyuga, Dwapara and Treta Yuga also, because Narad Muni is telling to Yudhishthira, when the relatives they advise you, you say, sure, you're right. What you're saying is right, but don't follow them. And I thought this was so beautiful for all householders, because this is a regular problem they face when they come to ISKCON temples also. People will say, every Sunday you go to temple. Oh, that only you keep doing. What? You should take your children for some time, movies, theatre, cinema, restaurant. They should know outside world. It's not correct what you're doing to them. I was just trying to make one point that sometimes relatives and friends and neighbors and colleagues may give us so many advices, but the whole point is from whom you take the advice. One should take advice from Guru, from Sadhu and Shastra, and not just about anybody and everybody. I'm reminded of this story. There was this one man who was learning painting from his Guru. So he just wanted to show the people, his beautiful painting. So this was somewhere in Shimla. So in Shimla there is one chowk, one place, one 4-lane road junction. So what he did is, one evening he placed his beautiful painting on the 4-road junction, and very humbly, in a humble heart, he wrote a message below this painting. He said that this is my first attempt at painting. I've tried my best, and if you do find any mistake in my painting, here is the black paint, and just mark a X on there, and I'll try to improve myself. And next day morning when he came to see his painting, there was no painting. The whole painting had X marks, X, 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 X. People kept on showing that this is not correct, this is not correct, this is not correct. And when he took back the painting to his guru, he said, I'm so thoroughly disappointed. Maybe painting is not for me. I don't want to do painting, Guruji. Just leave me. And Guruji said, no, I'll tell you something. Do the painting again. So he said, okay. He reluctantly did the painting again. And the Guruji said, go and put it back in the same 4-lane road junction. He did it. And he said, now you write down below, if you find any mistake in my painting, here are the colors, please correct them. Next day when he went, the painting was as it is. Nobody wanted to correct it. They simply want to show fault where it is wrong. They don't want to correct. This is the thing with the people in this world. If you ask them, they'll tell you 100 faults. This is not correct in your life. This is not correct. You're not taking care of wife and children properly. Why you have to chant 16 rounds every day? Why you have to go to temple? What is this food? But otherwise, they don't know anything from scriptures, and they don't have any better advice for you. So we shouldn't worry so much about what people say. But one tip, what you can do to avoid this is, when they say something like this, don't argue. Just say, okay. Yeah, okay, you are right, you are fine. What you're saying is correct. See, I'll tell you, in Ramayana, there is this one pastime when Bharat Maharaj, he goes to Chitrakoot to meet Lord Ram and to convince him that you please come back. So they all went in an entourage, Bharat Maharaj and Shatrughna and all the 3 queens and all the citizens of Ayodhya. And everybody is going in a big procession, to the forest to get Lord Ram back. Now Bharat thought in his mind, my Lord, the Lord of my heart, he is walking on the road without any footwear. How can I just, go in a chariot with so many horses? So he also removed his footwear and he started walking, on the floor with barefoot, But the moment he did that, everybody, all the citizens of Ayodhya, they also got down from their bullock carts and they also started walking. Now some of them were old and invalid and they were, having health issues. So now, because Bharat Maharaj was doing that, everybody did it. Then Bharat Maharaj said, no, don't do that. Okay. They said, no, but you are doing it in front of you. We can't sit in the bullock cart. Then he said, okay, I will sit in the cart back. I'll sit in my chariot. You all also get back. Then they all got back. Then he asked Vasishtha Muni, where am I making mistake? I just want to do something I'm not able to do. Then Vasishtha Muni said, because you made a show of it. Instead of, walking in the front of your chariot barefooted, you could have allowed everybody to pass and you should have gone and walked behind. And then nobody would have observed that you are missing from your chariot. The moment you make a show of your austerities, the moment you make a show of your spiritual life, there will be always people who will pull you down. So one should do it very diplomatically. One should do it very nicely. Should not make a show of it, right? Today you go to somebody's house, what will you take? Tea, coffee? The ideal thing would be is, I'm not feeling to. Is it okay if I take some cool drink or something like that? But if you make a show of it, well, it's been 40 years. I don't take tea, coffee. It's been 40 years. I just left it. Oh, no, you had it. Now he'll give you a big pep talk. Oh, really? Why don't you take tea and coffee? You go to a marriage, you go to a party, and then you make a show there. Oh, I don't take onion, garlic, and I just take sattvic food. And if you make a big show, now there will be so many people trying to pull your leg. But if you just say, I'm not feeling so well today. So one has to be so diplomatic depending upon the time, place, situation and circumstances. Some places, if you say that, it may be encouraging for others. Okay, I'll follow. Some places may not be. They'll just try to pull your leg. So one should be so careful. The Grihasta life is all about, a little, diplomacy, a little, like how do you present yourself? How do you carry yourself will make all the change, See, of course, this topic in itself is so huge. I don't know if I could do any justice to it, because in Grihasta life, there is something called, marriage life, where both the spouses has to go well together. And then there is an also dimension of, parenting. One has to be a good parent, how to deal with the children. And then there is also a dimension of how you deal with your parents. And then there is another dimension how you deal with the people outside. Then there's a dimension of your work life, your office, your colleagues. So there are so many, how you deal with your servants, how you deal with your people who are dependent on you. So there is so many dimensions to it, and in no one class we can cover all the interpersonal relationships that you can have with different people who are part of your life, But of course, in many of my classes, I've spoken about interpersonal relationship between husband and wife and about parenting. But one more important aspect that I see lately, which I get on my emails, is about dealing with non-devotee parents and dealing with the non-devotee in-laws. That is becoming one another big topic in itself. On a regular basis I get these mails, how to deal with them, and what I'm observing is over the period of time, one becomes very disrespectful. See, the whole point is, if you're becoming pure, doesn't mean that you start disrespecting the impure. That is one has to maintain properly, otherwise you will end up falling down. One has to be very careful, especially I see with the mother-in-law or with the in-laws. The moment they are not Krishna conscious, one feels that one has a license to discard them, one has a license to disrespect them, which is so wrong. One has a license to disrespect the parents because, Mataji, they're not devotees. Yeah, they're not devotees, but they're still your parents. So it's very important that, one should deal with them so cautiously. Otherwise, you're doing such a disservice to the whole ISKCON movement. Frankly speaking, you're doing a disservice to the whole ISKCON parampara by not behaving properly, because the kind of impression that you give is, maybe devotees are heartless and devotees don't care for parents, and devotees are self-centered. This is the impression we are giving, whereas devotees are so compassionate people. So one should be very careful how one is dealing with non-devotee parents. One should be very careful. So the whole point is one should understand that the parents, they love you and they want to be proud of you, and they just want that you be safe, and they just want to see that you are happy. And you have to make sure that you convince them of that, because sometimes when the parents see that, you have given up certain food items which you were eating before, they have a feeling that my son is missing on something, my grandson is missing on something, my daughter-in-law is missing on this food is so important. So like that, they have certain feelings about certain things. So we have to be very, very careful in how we deal with them without disappointing them. We have to be patient with them. You have to be so patient, just because we became devotee, it's not that overnight they will become devotee just because you became devotee. We have to give them freedom to be what they are. Just because you became devotee, you can't force them, You shouldn't become authoritative, okay, now I know things better, so do it this way. They'll feel so insulted, they'll feel so offended when you do that. So one has to be very careful even if you have a non-devotee in-laws or something, you have to be so careful. Give them their space, be patient with them, be respectful. Just understand that they love you, they care for you. It has to be handled very delicately, without offending them. And we can seek help. We can seek help from some other senior Vaishnava, and according to their guidance, we should deal with them. But we should not offend them. See what happened to Prajapati Daksha and Narad Muni. Narad Muni was cursed by Prajapati Daksha because he made his children devotees, right? You see how Hiranyakashipu was so angry on Prahlad, on Sanda and Amarka, because his son was becoming a devotee. We see Brahma was so happy so unhappy with Chatuskumaras because they said they want to be devotee. They don't want to help him in procreating, or they don't want to help him by getting married. So, even in those days there was this problem, where the children want to become devotee, but the parents have some other expectation. But you have to handle it properly, because even those great saints, they got cursed. And they could manage it, but if we get the curse of the parents, we will not be able to manage it. We need blessings of everybody in life. So we should be so sweetly and nicely managed. We should be very honest with our parents and see certain small things. What I see on my day-to-day, if you try to show holy, then though, we don't eat like this, our Guru Maharaj said like this, in ISKCON we follow like this. If you start showing that superiority complex, also parents feel so bad. And sometimes when parents, point out, this is the problem in ISKCON, this is what I saw, they try to justify it. It should not be like that. It should be honest. Yes, this is our organization, and like any other organization, we also have certain problems, but these are the good points, and that's why I want to stick with it. And this is helping me to progress, because if you start justifying, they'll criticize all the more. Hey, you don't know, this happened in ISKCON, that happened in ISKCON, that devotee did this. You accept it, honestly. Yeah, there are problems, but then this is the only boat going back home, back to Godhead. So yeah, the boat is unclean. Yeah, there is some dirt, but it's the only boat going. So yes, I'm trying to make my own space, clean my own space, and I'm just trying to go into this. So honest, you have to accept. So like that, if one deals very carefully, then not only one will go back, one will take them also. They'll be so impressed with you that how can this person become so sweet, so nice? My son was not like this. My daughter was not like this before she came to ISKCON, but now she deals with me so respectfully. So they'll get all the more respect for our organization. So we shouldn't do disservice, by behaving in the other way. So of course there are. So anyway, why I came to this point was, how to deal with the non-devotees. When they say, give you all kinds of advices, you say, that is all right. Yeah, you are right. You keep saying you are right. Just like the non-devotees do to us. If you invite them for our Sunday program, they'll say, I'll come, but they'll never come. And they'll go for their parties. Same thing we should do. Yeah, you're right. Whatever you're saying, you're right, but you don't do. You do what you're supposed to do. So I thought this is a very nice point in this verse. So I can go on and on, but we need to respect the time. It's already 8 o'clock, and so I'm sorry I'm ending it abruptly, and we could not come to conclusion. As always, I made big plans that I'll complete all the 42 verses, but I could never go beyond the text 6. So with this, I'll end it here on this note that, we should, one big carry home point is how to deal with the non-devotees, and so that we can have harmony in our Krishna conscious life, when we harmonize our relationship with the people around us along with our relationship with Krishna. Having said that, I'll end it here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Thank you, Mataji, for. So, do you have a couple of minutes to answer a few questions?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Devotees are really restless. In the very beginning, they started asking questions.
I'll do that.
Mataji, I'll just say quickly one thing. Please come back.
So what I understand your question is, since in the very beginning of the lecture I was saying that husband should be the spiritual authority of the house and everything should be followed under his direction. But in cases where husband is not a devotee, then how do you make him spiritual authority? But anyway, the beauty in your relationship with your husband is that you said he doesn't object to your Krishna consciousness, and is already having no objection, and he allows you that freedom to offer the food, take prasadam, do your chanting and all. So that itself is it's wonderful, and slowly it will happen, slowly and gradually it will happen. Meanwhile, you can keep taking instructions from him in other things in your life. So there are two aspects, right? One is a spiritual guidance, one is the material guidance also. One needs to be under the authority of husband, where you're going somewhere, you ask him and go, you report back to him, you share things with him, you accept his authority. So that way you can, at least for now, since he's not able to be your spiritual authority, since he's not into Krishna consciousness, but at least you can take guidance from him in other aspects, and very slowly and soon after taking Krishna Prasad and hearing and all, since he's cooperating with you, it will happen. You'll have to have some more patience. Only thing, my objection is when husband is not devotee, and if they start thinking because he's not devotee I don't have to follow any instruction by him, that is where the problem happens. So okay, for now you can just wherever the other things which you can take guidance from him, which he is good at, you can take it from now, for now, till he see that is the problem in this Prastut Kali Yuga material world. Why is there fightings and why are the people unhappy? Because the head of the family, if he is not devotee, then wife has to take up that role, and when she has to take up that role, and if both, and then by nature, I'm so sorry, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but by nature, actually, men supposed to lead and they're supposed to be the boss. That's how they're made. That is a species. And if they're not allowed to do that, then there will be a lot of ego clashes and a lot of problems. But in the present situation, they are not exemplary. They are not able to lead the family. So in these situations, you will have to take up a role, but you try to do it as humbly as possible without hurting his ego, always trying to make suggestions. Prabhu, do you think we should go? Do you think we should do this? And a very, very nice balance you'll have to maintain, without hurting his ego, because the moment you start showing that you are the boss, this is how it's supposed to be done, this is what I read, this is how I came to know from ISKCON temple, he's definitely going to feel bad. There are ways in your talking also, how you present things, it's so important. Apart from your intention, presentation also should be so nice without hurting him. Do you think we should go? I heard this point in the class. What is your opinion on this? This is what they were saying. So like that, you should make it very conducive and allow him to give his opinion, and slowly it will happen. And when he sees you are sincerely serving him, and definitely he will also slowly change. But see, I don't know any solution for this. Only thing we can keep trying, because this is how the present material world is. In those days, they used to go to the Gurukul, the boys used to go to Gurukul, get training in scriptures, and then they come back, they get married, they used to lead the family in an exemplary way. But now that is missing. Neither the girls are trained taking care of household chores, neither the men are trained into scriptures. So that's the whole mess. But anyway, by Prabhupada mercy, now we have the books and we have association of devotees. Just go get into right associations, and if he allows, spend your evenings or Sunday evenings in the right association with other couples who are leading an exemplary life, and that may motivate him. Because sometimes our motivation is not linear. Sometimes it is triangular. So one may not feel directly inspired from the Lord, but one may get inspired by seeing somebody who is inspired by the Lord. So like that, you can be in association where there are couples who are practicing very well, and slowly it will happen. But all said and done, even if he is not your spiritual authority, he is your authority. So that respect should be given. And since in your case there is no controversy where he's asking you to do things which are contrary, like I kind of emails that I get, my husband is asking me to cook non-veg, my husband is asking me to do this, what I'm supposed to do, but I'm a devotee, I don't want to cut non-veg or eat, what I'm supposed to do. So there are so many problems. At least in your case, he allows you and gives you independence, and you be patient with him and allow his freedom and his independence, and slowly start from the place where you both agree. There may be so many things which you don't agree, but I'm sure there must be a common ground where you both agree. So start with that, and then keep increasing the area of where you are agreeing together, and slowly do it with all humility and all respect. That should be there.
Thank you so much, Mataji. And you also mentioned regarding begging versus asking in one of the examples. So coming back to my original question, so myself expecting husband to get involved in the daily pujas.
Okay, now my question of, no, what I meant by begging was to beg for material pleasure, or that person should make you happy. But when it comes to spiritual, you're benefiting yourself and you're benefiting him too. So nothing wrong in keeping that kind of expectation, but just do it in a very, very nice way. So you do something which he likes on a regular basis, which he expects from you, and I'm sure if you're just doing everything right, he'll be happy to respond back to you in the way you like it, So like you understand these are the things he likes. I'm sure by the time that he's associating with you, he understands that it makes you happy when he helps you with the puja, or when he visits an ISKCON temple with you. I'm sure he can make it out. It's a human psychology, right? So he understands. So be your best, and then the person has nothing to complain, and he gives so much that a person feels obliged to give you back, So that should be our mantra. Give so much respect and so much love and so much affection that, a person is up to the neck and he just wants to give back to you. So you can just take that, you can do that strategy. There are so many strategies, and like you say, Sama, Danda, Bheda. There's so many ways you work. The first and foremost way a wife should approach is by love and by serving. very nicely, by patience, see, these are all the qualities which Anusuya said to Sita Mata. When Sita Mata, she was in the forest with Lord Ram. She was only a 14-year-old girl, nothing to do in the forest whole day. She used to go to Anusuya and help her, taking this roots and fruits and all, and cleaning and serving. And then Anusuya said, what do you want? I want to give you some gift. And she says, the only gift I want is, can you just give me some guidance on how to be a good wife? And then she gave a list of what you can do as a good wife. So these are some things: speaking sweetly, serving nicely, being humble, being patient. So all that if you do, you conquer the heart of the person. The person just wants to do something back for you. So it should be on that level,
Thank you, Mataji. And one more regarding the cleansing. And what is the goal?
I said, you said that. For purifying the mind, chanting. For purifying the senses, serving the Lord. For purifying the intelligence, reading scriptures. For purifying the wealth, giving charity. Such a wonderful question you asked. Such a wonderful question. I didn't realize when I'm giving you this example of my aunt, I'm just making a maybe some people can take it the wrong way also. No, my whole point emphasizing was that how serious she was in her Krishna consciousness. At the same time, it's a very important point that for your Krishna consciousness you avoid. So now in my context, instead of feeling avoided, I felt very happy. I appreciated that quality of her, that how sincere she is, and I was patient enough to wait for her puja to be over, that then she will help me with whatever I want. So why did this thing come in me, appreciation for her? That means apart from that morning puja that she is doing, she must be doing so much for me the rest of the time, that this has changed into appreciation for her. But maybe if her other time behavior is not so good, then I would not have appreciated her puja also. That means, just like the previous Mataji, I was answering the question, give so much that the person becomes obliged to you. That means, like we say, if your 2 hours chanting has to be very nice, then your 22 hours behavior is very important. That means that 2, 3, 4 hours that you give for seva, what is the rest of the hours, what you are doing, that's very important. That will determine the way people will behave or judge you. If you are a very kind person and otherwise you are doing things so perfectly, then they will not mind that time which but if you are not doing justice to them, then they'll always have complaint. Now, let me give my personal life example. I prepare for classes, I give classes, I do counseling, and then email, and then school, and there's so many things that I'm doing. So you can imagine what must be happening with my kids. But then whatever time that you are with them, and if they understand the value of what you are doing, they'll appreciate. Like my children, I'm honest, I won't be able to give them so much time, because there's multifarious activities that I'm doing, but they have so much appreciation. My elder one, he'll always say this, okay, everybody's mother is a mother to their children, but you're mother to so many, and he feels so proud about it. He said, not only mother to me, you're mother to so many, mama, you're mother to so many people. So he's so proud about it, and he's not envious about it, or he's not feeling bad about it, why my mother, why? That means he must be getting so much love and affection that he feels it's okay, share it with the whole world, right? So that means that quality time that you give them, at that security you give them, because whatever little time that you spend with them, they're so enriched and nourished and so happy that they're ready to share with you with Krishna, and share with you with the other devotee Matajis when you talk, you preach, and also it's all about a fine balance. You just do your things, what you're supposed to do when should be done then. You don't overlap things. So like when I come for classes, it's not that I don't do my duty. Many times, the Mataji, sometimes when people ask me for dates for classes, there'll be sometimes a big argument. No, when I send them my schedule, okay, this is my schedule for the month of June. Then they'll say, Mataji, there is one day in between. Can you give? And then I said, no, that day I'm going to clean my house. And really? You clean house? And I said, I'm a normal human being. I clean house, I cook, I take care of I just do everything. So it's not that I sit with this background here and I don't have to do anything else. I'm just a normal housewife, I just do everything that a wife and a mother has to do. And then with my extra time, I just come give classes. So sometimes, when people write to, email the young girls, 20, 18, I want to become like you, I want to do this. And then I tell them, you become like me, but you're not seeing the 80% of my life. You're just seeing that 20%. So don't get me wrong and don't try to become only that 20%. I still clean and cut vegetables and I clean. And even now when I came in the morning, I did what I'm supposed to do. I made the milk hot. I did my job. I said, Prabhu, I'm going for this class. So, okay, he asked me what topic, what, and then he told me, don't answer many questions, take care of your throat. And yes, Prabhu, and I take his permission. It's just like a normal life, nothing special. The only thing different is maybe this background. I'm just a normal housewife, I just do my duty. And that makes a happy family, So we shouldn't overdo. So sometimes they'll argue with my schedule and I'll say, no, I can't give more than 3 classes or 4 classes a week because I have other things to do. So that's it. If you just maintain that fine balance, you'll have a happy life. Yeah, it's okay. It's a Sunday morning for me and I can go another 15-20 minutes. I'm okay. I'm relaxed. It's Sunday for me, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. So, Mataji, your initiation.
Okay, so your question is that before getting initiation, can we preach or not? Do we have to wait because the mercy flows through Guru Parampara? No, the moment you have accepted a Guru, it's done. Even if it's not formally yet done, you are already, following an instruction is following Guru. If you're following the instruction of the spiritual master, you're following the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, you're already in the radar of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. You're already getting his mercy. So nothing to worry. You don't have to wait. Whatever you know, you preach. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
See, now I don't know what is the a particular incident or what you're asking, and I don't want to make just some kind of blanket statement, but the whole principle is that you do self-introspection. Just see that you're not doing it just to satisfy your ego. Sometimes, like it may happen. Just check what is your intention, deep within. Sometimes, I see even when people deal with some non-devotees or sometimes say some things, sometimes there is some selfish motive behind also of serving their own ego. So you can just check it out. Whomever you are reacting to, what's your basic intention? Do you want to it's just that you want to protect your family, family's Krishna conscious activities, and this person is disturbing. See, of course, all said and done, for everything, according to time, place, situation and circumstances, you have to behave, just like Narad Muni, that example of Narad Muni telling the snake, don't bite, or just hiss, So just see how much it's affecting your consciousness. Are you deep within having a feeling of, do you hate them or no? It's not like that. If you're just doing it in a humble way, okay, Prabhu, this is disturbing, please don't do this way, do it that way. So there is nothing wrong, Devotees have to be so expert. You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was dealing with Prakashananda Saraswati, he was taking such an humble position, sitting in the place where people were washing feet. But when it came to philosophical discussion, he didn't take a humble position. He said what he was supposed to say and he didn't compromise. You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, otherwise he was very, revolting with Chand Kazi and Sankirtan movement. But when it came to Jagannath temple, where they were not allowing non-Hindus to enter the Jagannath temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a back seat and he never fought with the Jagannath temple authorities that why you're not allowing non-Hindus inside. You see, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he never fought with the Britishers. He took advantage of his position in the British government and he wrote more books and published and did his preaching. So devotees, they are so sharp and intelligent. According to the situation, one should react. So if that person's intervention in your life is disturbing the Krishna conscious peaceful atmosphere of your house, and if you're making certain statements to them is going to keep peace in your family, go ahead and do it. But the whole point is, don't do it like a with a vengeance or a tit for tat attitude. Do it like, okay, this is my service, just to protect them, I'm doing it. And you tell the person in the right way whatever you are supposed to say in a humble attitude. And then while doing that, you understand Krishna is also in his heart, Krishna is in your heart, Krishna is in everybody's heart. And this situation is somehow like that I'm, internally, sometimes you can't make a show of humility in the front. They may not, they may just take you very easily. You may have to put up a stern face and, you have to make it. But internally, you should ask forgiveness, Like I give many times this example, my school, the teachers, they'll bring the children. Ma'am, he hasn't done homework. Ma'am, he's got less marks, and I have to put a stern face. Oh, really? Why? But believe me, I have no anger for that child. I love him, the little sweet boy. But I have to put a strong face and, oh, why didn't you do your homework? What is this, This is what we have to do. Act it out, So even if you have to be stern with that person, whomever you're talking, act it. Don't really have any hard feeling. Act it. Oh, this is not the way. This is not the way you do. But inside, have love for everybody. Love everybody, yeah. That will happen. That loving will happen if you also see the good qualities of that person. I'm sure if that person may be disturbing you in one way or the other, but I'm sure there must be other 100 nice things about it. So be conscious of that also. Otherwise, it's so difficult to love the person, because when somebody does harm to you, the only thing that you can see is that harm that he's doing to you or your family, But we forget the other things. So we should always keep reminding of the good things also. Actually, he's a nice person, but this one thing he's, see, actually, when people talk to us, if somebody is a drunkard, and he comes and shouts on you, what's your feeling? Are Baba, he's a drunkard, he doesn't know what he's doing. That should be our feeling when people talk to us. Are Baba, he's influenced by 3 modes of material nature. He's influenced by Maya. So am I sometimes. But at this moment, I'm little, trying to get away, and he's not. So, if you just do that, you can forgive everybody. Leave it, Baba. He's under some influence, Like that. I mean, I don't know the specific thing what happened, but I'm just trying to give you some general hints, yeah. Have you heard this class of Bhaktastakam that I gave? How do you become a favorite devotee of the Lord? Have you heard that? Please. This topic I have raised in that, How if you become a mother of everybody, today if your child comes and pulls your dress or just speaks badly with you, you will not mind, because, he's a child, Just like a mother forgives a child inside the womb who is kicking her. If you become a mother of the whole, you just think about everybody as your son, as your daughter, you will forgive them. Or leave it, like that. Let me see if I got your question correct. You said that your child asked that how come Kamsa got a moksha because he was touched by Krishna, though maybe you mean to say that though he was so sinful. So what do I do if they ask this kind of crazy question? Is that right? Okay. So then you could so you could tell him the story of how these demons, they are also in their previous life devotees of the Lord, just like you see in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana and Shishupal and Dantavakra, how they were all, they're all incarnations of, or they're all, Jai Vijay, who is security at the Vaikuntha gates, and how they got cursed. So similarly, these devotees, they look to be demons, but they are all having a previous baggage. They're all part of Krishna's Leela. So that's why they just go back from where they came from. This is all a Leela. This is all a drama that the Lord plays, just like you see in the cinema, in the movie, right? So, or your Sunday feast drama at your local ISKCON community center. You will see somebody becomes Jagai Madhai, and somebody becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and somebody becomes Nityananda Prabhu. And then there is a fighting, and all the drama happens. And after that, they change their costume, and everybody is dancing together in the Sandhya Aarti or taking Sunday feast prasadam together. So you can tell that to your child that this all happens, while Krishna enjoys that wrestling and fighting and all, but at the end of it, the drama is over and everybody goes back where they're supposed to. So originally everybody is part and parcel of the Lord, and they just go back to the Lord. The Leela is over. The whole Leela is for giving rasa to the devotees and showing them trailer of how it is, you can deal with the Lord in different rasas. And at the end, everybody just goes back from where they came from, and that is going back to Krishna. So like that you can answer.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Okay, now your question is that by the time we came to know about this knowledge, we already passed our life. So what about things that we have already done? So yeah, there are two ways of dealing. If those people are still around in your life, you can make it up for them if they're still around in your life. And if they aren't, then you just ask forgiveness from Krishna. There are two ways. One is that the deep repentance, that I didn't do that, it self-purifies us and cleanses us when we are in deep repentance. And the second thing is when the depression or the repentance goes too high, you see, it should stimulate or motivate our progress in Krishna consciousness. But if it's taking you other way around, then we should pause. That means if after hearing a class I feel deeply regret, I am like this, I should have improved, I should do this, I should do that, and if that regret is motivating me to do better, then that is a positive. But suppose if that regret or depression is taking me down, then I should pause and understand that my life is not this 54 years. I have been living before even taking this body, and I'm also going to live after leaving this body. So there is still some time. When we talk about Lord Ram, we always talk about those 14 years that he was there in forest, but actually his lifespan was huge. He lived for 11,000 years. He ruled Ayodhya kingdom. So imagine, out of 11,000 years, in another couple 100 years, only 14 years he was there in the forest. So like that, there is so many lives we have already lived, and there's so many lives you're going to live. In between this 54, 55 years, whatever, is just a very short time. So don't get so much worried about it. The whole point is, okay, at least now I got it, and I can redirect myself and redefine the purpose of my life and realign myself. So you just be happy about it, and that's it. Okay, now that's about it. From here on, I'll go into a different direction, and now the people whom I'm going to deal, I'll deal it in a proper way. So just be positive. At the same time, whatever deep repentance you feel is okay, good. It's cleaning, it's purifying. You can ask forgiveness to those people if they're around. If they're not, from your heart, wherever they are, in your heart, and to Krishna. And Krishna will feel more happy if along with repentance there is also a redefine or there is a change in behavior henceforth. That will be much appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay, before I do that, the moderator, how many questions are there? Then I'll just make it short, instead of making my answers long.
Mataji, you can answer 3 more questions.
3 more, okay. 3 more, then I'll just try to make them short. Yes, please go ahead, Mataji. Yeah.
Sumitra Mataji is trying to ask you questions.
Yes.
And when you do that, there's a lot of justification with that. How do you reconcile and prioritize the balance in situations like this?
What I understand from your question is that sometimes the external situations in our life are like that we may not be able to give equal importance to hearing, reading, chanting, and we'll have to pick up, certain things we can do, certain things we can't do. So at that time, what to do? So, okay, even if certain situations arise, you have picked up chanting, okay, chanting has to be done. You have given priority to chanting, but again, if there is no Shravanam and Kirtanam, the quality of chanting also goes down. It doesn't last long. Again, at the same time, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is so powerful, it keeps us on track. So yes, sometimes you may have to make certain choices. So nothing wrong. You are in that consciousness that, okay, this is my situation. So this is something like, sometimes when all the street lights are off and you can't see anything, You just take your cell phone and you put out the torch in your cell and you do one at a time. So you're already doing that. So when you are seeing the situation of COVID and your external work pressure and all and children and so much, so you are thinking, okay, I'm not able to do everything all right, at least I'll do something. So yeah, that's the way to take it. So okay, you're thinking, at least I'll do my chanting properly, and when situation changes, I'll try to add or go back to my normal life, what I used to do. So yeah, that's the approach one should take on too. That okay, it's like whatever situation Krishna has put us in, we do the best in that situation possible, instead of lamenting, why I'm not able to do this or I'm not able to do that. Okay, this is the situation I'm put into and this is the best I can do. Only thing is that what is your best, you also confirm it with others. Sometimes mind cheats us, it will make us think that this is your best you can do. So just take some external help with your mentor or somebody and just run your schedule with him or her. Oh, this is what I'm doing, getting up, and I'm sure sometimes they'll just point out the spaces. Hey, there is space here and there is a space here and this you could have modified, because mind, sometimes it is friend, sometimes it is enemy, sometimes it will make all kinds of, like I keep telling in the classes, Maya is so badmash, Maya will never tell us that give up chanting. Maya will tell us that you should do chanting, 100% you must chant, but not now. Not now, you can do it later. She'll give you such a sweet talk. You should not leave chanting, but no, not now, do it later. And she'll put it, somewhere down in your list. And first it was on the top, then it was somewhere in the middle, then down, and after some time it's not there in your list anymore. It will just slide away. So that's why always, have an external help. So you should always share it with somebody. If your husband is your spiritual authority or somebody else, just run the whole schedule with them one time and just make sure Maya is not cheating you anyway by internally pleasing you that no, what can you do? You're so busy. That she'll tell always. Mind will always tell like this. Even if there is no COVID situation also, mind will always say, you are so busy, you are getting tired, then you have children, you have so much, you're already doing so much. This is Maya's favorite dialogue. You're already doing so much. How much you can do more, So please share it with somebody and just let them check, that is it okay? I'm really busy, right? And justified, right? And then it will be fine. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. What to do, Mataji?
Srilekha Mataji, thank you so much for your question. But were you there in the last part of my class? I spoke completely on that only, how to deal with mother-in-law who is not a devotee. Were you there in the last portion of my class today? I think you missed it because I spoke mainly on that and I gave certain tips, how to give them freedom, how to be respectful, how to be patient, all the tips I gave, how to deal with non-devotee mother-in-law. And there is one point I mentioned that how they want us to be safe, they want to be proud of us. Like you mentioned this one point, that your Krishna only gave you intelligence to earn money, then why do you want to stop earning money? And then you said that you don't want any more anything, you are satisfied. So it always happens. Now this is happening between you and your mother-in-law. Sometimes it happens between husband and wife also. The husband will say, I think we have earned enough money, I don't think we need any more, let's be satisfied. Or sometimes the wife may say, oh, I think Prabhu it's enough, we don't have to. There will be sometimes, but it's very fortunate in your situation where both of you are on the same page and it's only with your mother-in-law and father-in-law. But this, just like I said in my class today, that they want to feel proud of you. They want to see that you are happy. So if you are able to convince them that you are happy, because for them, you not eating non-veg, not eating onion garlic, not taking tea, coffee is such a blow to their heart. They feel you are missing out such an important, beautiful thing in your life, because that is their definition of happiness and you have your own definition of happiness. So that is why you will have to express it, see, this is a long topic. I would not like to go into this, and you can always rewind the class on YouTube and hear the last portion, but I can give you one tip, one example. See something, your mother-in-law wants to see that you are happy. So you'll have to express it more often. So then little things that you do in the temple, you show them that happiness, you and your husband on your faces, you know what happened today in the temple, and this is what we did, this is what happened in Mayapur, and we were so happy and we enjoyed like this. If you just more and more mention it verbally, orally, in your words and actions and body language, and let them know that you are so happy, you are so happy. Believe me, they're human beings. When they see you are so happy, dancing and jumping with joy all the time, and that face is so smiling, they'll understand, oh, they're so happy in Krishna consciousness. So some way you'll have to express it to them that mother, we are so happy, we went like this and this happened, we chant and we feel so happy together, when we are reading scriptures we are so happy, this is what happens in Mayapur, this is what we do. You maybe they don't know, you paint a picture for them what it is to be in Krishna consciousness. And even if they don't want to settle with you, take them once in a while to Mayapur, Vrindavan, let them see the lifestyle, because sometimes they have their own preconceived notion where they think devotee means they must be having austere life, my child will suffer, why at this young age they have to have so many restrictions. So like that they have so many definitions. I've seen that with many of relatives and friends, but I've seen with my own relatives also, many years ago, my biological family, oh, it is so austere and why she has to do that. And then I gave them one trip to Mayapur and they were like, what? After seeing our Govindas and feast, and they're like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Oh, there's no austerity here. Oh, you people are having happy lives. So, okay. So, and they realize now when they see our festivals and they're like, wow, we have just maybe one marriage in the family, after 10 years, or one housewarming ceremony or one party. You have party every day there is feasting and, so much enjoyment. So just show them the good side. You're only showing them the austere part of it, like getting up for Mangalarti, chanting rounds, reading. You're only showing that part. Show the fun part of ISKCON also. How much fun we have, the kind of prasadam we have, and the festival, and the yatra, and the devotee community, and the way, we also have such beautiful relationships. So show them that part, and I'm sure, because again, I'm repeating, they just want to see you happy. They just want you to be safe. They want to be proud of you because they love you. If you just understand this one thing, they love you. That's it. So when somebody is in love with you, they just want to see you happy. And if you can show them you are happy, they're going to be happy. Okay, now this is long. I know I'm just telling it in very short, but this is a long topic. Okay, so your question is that they take non-veg, so we don't like to go and associate with them. So I understand. Asat Sangha Tyag, Vaishnavirachar, somebody Vaishnav, they don't want to be in Asat Sangha. But the thing is, certain association you can choose, whether you want to associate or not. But certain association you cannot choose because they are your parents and you have certain responsibility towards them. So you cannot avoid them, and at the same time, you have to give them their own freedom. As children, we can't become authoritative over them. Don't do this, don't do that. So as I told you, with love, serving, patience, slowly they will do. So you should not avoid them. You should go, make your own cooking arrangements. At the same time, you can make some other reasons. Sometimes parents are so concerned with your health. Sometimes if you tell them that I'm just getting that, don't say because you are devotee, because you took initiation, because you are in ISKCON, because you are Krishna conscious, that's why you don't like it. Then they will not like it. You have to put it other way around. I don't know what happened, but nowadays I know that smell, I'm getting allergy whenever that smell of non-veg is coming. Other day, I'm sorry, I'm teaching you to speak lie, but yeah, some things, but that is called diplomacy. I know when that some kind of sensation is coming in the stomach, I'm not able to eat, I'm having headache. Oh, they love you so much, they'll say, oh, is it? Then when you come, we will not cook, But if you mention because you are devotee, don't do that, then they'll purposely do it, Why they'll think if they cook, maybe one day you may get melted and you'll understand the value of eating non-veg, like that. So do it very diplomatically, do it very diplomatically. A doctor told me not to. Recently we had some body checkup. Doctor asked us to be careful. This is causing me allergy. This is happening. We just don't go like this. Go like this, it'll help you. Go in some other way around without offending them.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So your question is that your husband says you have to go according to the Smartha rules, and they're not very much interested that you be Krishna conscious, and they may asking you to alternately do some other kind of initiation. So how do you go about it? See, one thing, Mataji. Krishna consciousness is a process of mind, and Krishna consciousness, we have so much freedom Krishna has given us that even if you are chanting Hare Krishna, it's enough. You may not have to actually, have a deity, worship, do. If your situation is like that, you can at least do the chanting, and that nobody can understand when you are chanting inside your heart, So one thing is, so many people have so many problems, and everybody has a problem. Only thing, the flavor of problem is different. Like the ice cream has flavor, somebody is strawberry, somebody has vanilla. Everybody is suffering, everybody has problem. Your flavor of problem is different. There are people who have problems saying that their in-laws are asking them to take non-veg and become non-devotee. Your problem is that your husband is asking you to be smartha. Now, becoming smartha, what I understand is it will be more of cleanliness, more of rituals, so which is not that bad as to people who have to eat non-veg or suffer. So okay, you are having a better deal. Now the only difference here is he's asking you to worship Devi and you want to worship Krishna. That's the only difference. The rest of it, see, whenever the situation is like this in your life, see at least the good points, what you agree on, So something like, okay, he may not be devotee of Krishna, but he is a devotee of some demigod. At least he is a devotee. So at least he is following certain rules and regulations. At least he understands the value of scriptures. So at least he is nice with you in the other things. At least he is providing you food. See, you should count your blessings whenever situations like this arise, and you should never go low. You should never go low in life thinking, oh, I am doomed, now what will happen to me? No, just count your blessings. There are so many things which are happening nice with you. Okay, he likes you and there's no other person in his life, and then he's providing you. So many things are good. So now, out of all the 100 things that he's doing nice, there is one minor problem that you have, which is very minor, that he's asking you to worship Devi and not Krishna. So that's all right. Go ahead. Whatever is asking you to do. But inside you do your chanting. You finish your Hare Krishna chanting. See, I'm sure your husband is not behind you 24 hours and checking you or have a CCTV camera on you what you're doing. So do the things that he like. Then in your free time, you do the things which you like. And if you sincerely pray to Krishna, Krishna will make arrangement. So you continue your chanting. If you're not allowed to do loud chanting, you do chanting in your mind. And Hare Krishna chanting can be also done by keeping your lips closed. Nobody will understand that you are chanting. Count on your fingers, count on your beats, count on your machine, complete your rounds whenever possible. Like now you attended this class, and I don't know if your husband is okay with you attending the class. It's a great blessing. He didn't stop you that you can't attend the class. So just imagine you can chant, you can hear Krishna Katha. So then what is your problem? The problem is if you're stopped from chanting. The problem is if you're asked to eat something which is obnoxious. The problem is when you're not given the opportunity to hear Krishna Katha. When all this is given, there are already so many good things happening in your life. And one small little thing of, okay, worshipping Devi and all, if he's asking you to do it, do it. When you worship Devi also, you pray to the Devi. Oh, you are so devoted to Krishna. Can you make me like you? I also want to be devoted to Krishna. You ask for her blessings, and then internally you pray to Krishna. You see, you are in such a nice situation actually, like the gopis. The gopis had this kind of situation. Internally thinking about Krishna, externally they have to do their household works, and their husbands and mother-in-laws are stopping them from going to Krishna. Sometimes when you are stopped to do something, the love increases manyfold. When things happen to you very easily, then you'll take it so easily. I remember when I got newly married, I was in Vrindavan for some time, I think maybe 7 months or 9 months. Now, before that, I had such a craze for Vrindavan. I want to be in Vrindavan. But when I was there, I was young also. So when I was there, then it became like a part of my life. Okay, every day I can see Radha Shyam Sundar. Every day I can see Baki Bihari. So it's okay. But now when I'm in Vizag, last many years, now again it's like a craze. I want to go to Vrindavan. When will I be able to see the Radha Damodar face? So like that. So sometimes separation also increases the intensity more. So take it positive way. If there is no villain, then there is no value of the hero and the heroine, okay? So there has to be some villain in the life, then it becomes more interesting. Your movie is becoming interesting, So don't worry so much about it. That's all right. Otherwise, he's nice to you. No, it's okay. You offer mentally. We're already doing so much. You are hiding from me. You're already worshipping every day with Tulsi water. Radha and Krishna are doing. Oh, come on. And the way you asked the question, I thought you were suffering. Oh, come on. So there's already so much happiness in your life. Yes. So you got so much. Okay. So don't worry. You can just offer it mentally, Mataji, and that will help you. Okay.
Just I don't want to take Devi Upasana.
Oh, no, do it. Don't offend the Devi. Just do it and make him happy. He'll be so happy if you do it. Just do it with the thinking. You tell Devi that please make me a devotee, just like you are a devotee of Krishna, make me a devotee. Okay? Don't do it. See, the problem in ISKCON is that the demigod worship, we just demonize it so much as if it's something. Come on, it's not that bad. They're also devotees of the Lord. We worship Vaishnavas, is it not? We wash the lotus feet of our Guru, is it not? So Guru, and so that they're also devotees of the Lord. Do it in that mood. Okay? Okay, so shall we end it here? It's long.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, so much, giving so much time.
Jai.
Krishna 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 lage sab Krishna 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 lage sab Krishna 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 lage sab Krishna